does look like Miracle Rogue, Edwin Van Cleef. Did he choose to bring a Miracle Rogue? I don't know.
Well, Dr. Boom and Rogue.
That's not something I've expected. Alright, so Dog playing something that looks like a Miracle Rogue, throws back his entire hand. Kolento playing, you know, Acolyte of Pain, Sword Justice, Knife Juggler, so we can expect some muster for battle in this matchup. Paladin coming back in strength since that card's been added to their roster. Alright. So Dog, not on the coin, has Preparation, Eviscerate, double Eviscerate in his starting hand. Not exactly the type of hand you want to start with. But now that he picked up Edwin Van Cleef, it's not that bad.
This can mean that we'll be seeing a really huge Edwin Van Cleef as soon as possible, but the problem against the Paladin, when you play against the Paladin, is there's always an equality lurking in the hand of your opponent, so
yeah.
Developing that Edwin can be a really risky play, but it can also be like a very profitable one.
Yeah, against Paladin it's a bit riskier because of follow the rules and equality, as you did mention. Like, it's pretty tough to actually justify going all in on that. You have to play a little bit slower, and it's one of those classes right now that can allow you to do that. Now, we see two Bomb Lobbers in Kolento's hand, which I think is kind of interesting. Two Bomb Lobbers in Paladin, that's not something I've seen very often.
Well, it's a pure tempo card, so it might fit the theme of mid-range Paladin here.
Yeah, he's definitely going mid-range, and because he still has the coin, Dog feels like he needs to remove those 1/1s. And it does look like Dog has chosen to bring a bit more of a Violet Teacher Miracle Rogue. Even after Goblins vs. Gnomes and Gadsden Auctioneer's mana cost change, it turns out he still wants to play that deck. How much do you think the deck has suffered after TVG, actually?
I'm not really sure. The Gadsden Auctioneer for 6 mana is just awful. A lot. I mean, the mana cost changed so much. When you think about Miracle Rogue back in the beta, when Auctioneer was for 5 mana and Conceal was for 0, the change from that point is just obnoxious.
It's incredible, isn't it? Yeah. Alright, so Dog drops down the Violet Teacher. Gonna contest the board a little bit, which is actually pretty nice, because Violet Teacher will be able to possibly trade with a Zombie Chow, and if the Paladin chooses to play Truth or Champion at any point, it must not feel that great.
3 and 4 drinks, so
the Bomb Lobber. Oh wow, the Bomb Lobber doing some work here. It's really unfortunate for Dog, because the second Bomb Lobber can take care of a Gadsden Auctioneer if he chooses to drop it here. And he does.
Even if you would play a Conceal, that wouldn't matter anymore, because Bomb Lobber has this great upside that it can hit minions that can also that are also stuffed.
Yeah, it's kind of a problem right now. Kolento also has the Loatheb, so he can Bomb Lob the first Gadget Sand and Loatheb the second one. That's going to put a huge stop to Dog's aggression with Miracle Rogue. I mean, he can get some health back by killing the Zombie Chow, but ultimately, how much pressure can he really pack after 2 Gadget Sands are gone? He can't really play it now, can he?
No. Without any preparations or backstabs, you're kinda keeping that Gadgeton in your hand. And now the problem is, comboing it with anything means you have to wait till turn 8.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I
it's
think
kind of awkward.
Drop Azure Drake and maybe use second Eviscerate to kill the Bomb Lobber, but this sucks really bad. As the Bomb Lobber has a huge value here. So using another card for that.
Yeah, it's already killed your Gadsden for free and established your board presence, a threat that you have to deal with first of all. So are you happy to play Violet Teacher into Edwin here for the 4/4 and the 3/5 body?
Yeah, I think
it's
that's
kind of weak, but it does contest the board a little bit, and you keep your card engine for later.
That's true. You can always maybe just play Fan of Magic. This is a very weak play. I think the Edwin here is much better, but still Edwin at 4/4. So
I guess the Paladin.
Fragile to the weapon. But wow, Blessing of the Kings, man.
That is going to. Oh my God, the unexpected.
No one expects Spanish Inquisition.
Nobody expects the first Blessing of Kings, but I wonder if he plays 2 of them. I mean, I would be surprised, but he might, because with Muster for Battle, it gives you a lot more targets, in the immediate sense. True. So it's much more easy now to get Blessing of Kings off than it was before. And he kills the Violet Teacher. He's probably going to use his weapon on this one, just to make sure he doesn't lose any value.
So now you have to practically use the Resurrect if you want to get rid of that 6-3 minion.
Yeah, you're gonna get some health back as well. Ooh, Dr. Boom here. In Miracle Rogue, I think it's kind of interesting, but he decides to cycle with Gadget and Auctioneer. I can't fault him for that. I think it makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately for him, double True Silver Champion. I mean,
yeah,
that's gonna
this
be
will mean. Sorry, proceed.
No, go ahead. It's fine. I'm just wondering what the follow-up is from Dog's perspective, as far as aggression goes.
You have to play the Dr. Boom as soon as possible.
Yeah, but it can't feel that good.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you have only one spell power. Oh, here's the second one.
Oh, that is nice.
Still, that's kind of not enough.
Yeah. And he decides to play Dr. Boom. Alright, so that is pretty sensible. It's going to contest the board a bit and put a little bit of pressure on Kolento to deal with this. And right now, he's got... No, you don't play Tyrion here. How do you actually... Go ahead.
What's the finisher in Rogue's deck? I mean...
That's what I was wondering, actually. I was wondering, because Dr. Boom is decent enough to, to whittle down some of the health of the opponent, draw a big removal piece, but we haven't seen anything, out of the ordinary yet. We know Violet Teachers for decent combos. Maybe he runs, Arcane Golems? Ragnaros?
I think Ragnaros might be viable. When you're playing... When you're playing a big creature that is vulnerable to Big Game Hunter, you can actually put something that is even bigger, and then draw the Big Game Hunter first out.
Yeah, that's the upside of Dr. Boom, actually, is he's the first BGH target, and then you can stack more of them afterwards that are not going to get killed by BGH yet. Unless your opponent, you're unfortunate and he runs, two of them, and he wants to have the beast in his sights. But right now, oh, Kolento, how evil of you. Hey, he's got a lot of damage on the board right now. Oh, this is not looking strong. So much damage, and Lotheb locking down Dog's turn here.
Wow.
Completely locking down Dog's turn.
No, the bombs will be crucial. I mean, the randomness of the bombs will be crucial here.
If they get lucky, he could play Blood Mage Talos with a Fan of Knives here to help whittle down a bit of the board and, wipe the rest. Yeah. So it's kind of a tricky moment right now for him. He can wipe the board alright, but what does Kolento do here? If he has Consecration, it's gonna be a bit dreadful. Oh, he top decks the Aldor Peacekeeper. Nicely done here. That is a nice top deck. He runs Sabotage. Oh wow.
No way.
Nice. I like Sabotage. I've always loved that card, but it's not the one you expect most people to play. So right now, Sabotage. If Tyrion is killed, that Ashbringer is gone. Do you wait for Tyrion to use Sabotage, or do you kill the True Silver's second charge?
Well, the Sabotage is not capable of killing Tyrion and
the weapon. Yeah, it's one or the other. You'd have to kill Tyrion first and then remove the weapon. But he's already used to Eviscerates.
When you're playing Sabotage, why do you ban a class that is using weapons?
I know. I find it odd because I don't know. He's probably running only the one because two of them might be a bit overkill. But it's a pretty good tech card against Control Warrior. As you said, you can tech Miracle Rogue to deal with Control Warrior, and I think Sabotage is one of those specific cards that does that super well. All right, Kolento decides to go for the face here. I believe, unless I'm mistaken. No, he does go for the face and deals 4 damage to Valera. That's a bit, So going on full-on aggression here on Dog. Unfortunately for him, Azure Drake and Blood Mage with Fan of Knives will make short work of this board.
Oh, this is some value here.
Yeah, there's a lot of... Now the Rogue could swing back. She's got a sick board. There's no board wipes in Kolento's hand.
The problem with Paladin is that you have almost no possibilities when it comes to burst damage, apart from weapons. So you're very limited to a situation when you actually give up your board position and just go face like the last turn from Kolento here. So he's in a bad spot, a really bad spot.
Yeah, the Acolyte of Pain, actually he can't afford playing the Acolyte of Pain. It's going to be way too dangerous. Now unfortunately for him, the sap is going to delay the ability of Tyrion to actually control the board by at least one turn. And the SI7 agent and the backstab can deal with the shielded mini-bot very effectively.
A
little bit problematic here. Indeed, yeah. That is And this is really troublesome for Kolento. He has to replay Tyrion on the following turn, and
Wouldn't you first sacrifice the fireworks? Oh yeah, he's that.
yeah, first he's doing it.
Yes. Oh, a heal
Oh,
bot.
anti-heal bot. I like that. I love this deck card here. Now Kolento must not be feeling too good about his chances to whittle down the health of Dog and Zombie Chow. That's no help.
That's an awful draw. That's
not the
really
best.
awful draw.
Alright, so looking at this board, we know that Tyrion Forging can be killed by just using the board, or a combination of backstabs, and then Sabotage would kill the Ashbringer.
Yeah, exactly.
This will be, oh, another sap!
No.
Oh, the plays. Oh, RNG, why art thou so cruel? Oh, this is unfair.
Yeah.
Alright, Deadly Poison.
Deadly Poison with Deadly Fury is ready, and you can just go phase and just play Blade.
Yeah, you Blade Flurry now for 4.
Yeah.
I mean, you can Sabotage Tyrion if it gets replayed, so it should, and you can backstab the 1/1 on the options that you need to. I mean, he has to replay Tyrion again here, doesn't he? Yep.
For sure. That's the
So
only
he does.
option. Yeah, just to maybe survive, but you're at 6 points of health. There's 10, 13 points of damage. Oh, there's a Ragnaros.
There's the Ragnaros, as predicted. I like this Miracle Rogue deck. A lot of late game threats. Not something you see very frequently in Rogue, but that actually brings up the point of, you know, why ban Control Warrior, right? You did bring that up, but it does seem to be even weirder to me right now. Since I do feel like this deck could have a decent matchup against it, or is it not aggressive enough? I don't know. Alright,
Yeah, sure.
that's game.
It depends on also the free drops. Like, if there are some Shade of Extras, the matchup versus War will be really good, but I don't think he can fit all of those cards in one deck with really 30 cards.
Yeah, with Dr. Boon, Ragnaros, Sabotage. That's a Warlock, rather. I don't know which type. But definitely, yeah, it's Handlock. There's a Mountain Giant there and a Suntree Protector. It seems to indicate the Handlock is definitely going to be the thing. So no Paladin, no Warrior for Kolento, going down, losing the first game, which is really impactful in any, you know, series. Best of 5 less so than best of 3, but losing the first game is always a big deal. Alright, you're back. I have visuals on you, Lothar.
Yeah, sorry,
Awesome.
I don't know what...
That's fine. A little bit of a latency problem. Alright, so we're looking at Handlock against the interesting Miracle Rogue from Dog. I'm actually curious to see what else is there. Now, Dr. Boom was seen in Kolento's starting hand, and he actually, you know, it kind of makes sense. This card has been pretty much everywhere, as far as I'm aware. I've seen the card in just about every single deck nowadays. Dr. Boom is just super high value.
That's true. And almost no one predicted that Dr. Boom will be such a great addition to almost every single deck. Like, only Strifeco was talking about it, as it's just insane.
I loved it, but I couldn't see if, you know, it made that much sense for every single deck. But now, like, even Miracle Rogue is including it in their roster just for high damage win condition. Like, I couldn't have thought that was the case. So honestly, oh wow, double Violet Teacher, Prep Sap.
Oh,
this board.
Might be a headache.
Oh, Kolento. Oh, he can play Sludge Belcher to, you know, weather down some of the aggression.
But it's still a really great spot to be in. You have 2 Violet Teachers with no immediate response.
Yeah, this is very powerful here.
The 2 spells that were used for those Violet Teachers acted like one Cold Blood, actually.
At the moment, yeah, you have 4 minions on board, so they're kind of split apart. They're not. It's not like you have like all your eggs in one basket, right? Like it's one damage, exactly. 1 damage. You can use them individually to get as much value out of them as you can. So Kolento drops the Ancient Watcher and the Mountain Giant, trying to stop some of the onslaught that Dog is putting.
The Ancient Watcher would be used for Shadow Flame if needed next turn.
Yeah, but do you think Dog will predict that? Because he could still play some kind of interesting, you know, Shiv Eviscerate if he wanted to kill a Giant, and maybe even trade into the 4/5. The problem is that doesn't really play around Mortal Coil, so that could be a bit problematic, I'd imagine.
You can't really play around Mortal Coil at this point, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if he had it, he would have played on one of the 1/1s, perhaps. I don't know. I like his position, however. I'll be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
The spells.
You have to use the tokens that you're generating each turn because there are so many of them. You will clog your board just easily with any kind of spell you have there.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't see his weapon actually on this screen.
Yeah, no, he had one. Yeah, I didn't see the weapon in his hand. I didn't see him equip it at all. I don't know why. It must have been like a little bit display problem in spectator mode. But the Ancient Watcher is gonna wipe the board here. This is...
Well, almost wipe it.
Yeah, there's gonna be like 2 level 1 ones. No Mortal Coil for Kolento. I don't know if he runs them. Do you think that this heavy handlock? Like, I've seen pretty much every handlock still run them, but I wouldn't doubt that some versions have swapped one out. Like, it's not uncommon.
Well, Mortal Coils were always the spot that you can actually change in the Warlock deck for something more powerful. But, well, the meta changed back to 2 Mortal Coils some time ago, and now when your metagame is really unpredictable, I think more players are inclined to use some more impactful cards instead. So we might see actually no Mortal Coils or just 1 Mortal Coil.
It's one of those cards that's been varying a lot as far as its presence in the handlock deck. It's basically like, you know, sometimes 2 Siphon Souls used to be the case a while back, and it was standard for a while, and then some people tuned those out. They modified it for like a Black Knight. Some really awkward cards that have a similar function, but not necessarily the exact same.
Yeah, that's true. No, the problem with the rogue spells here is you can use the Shift and Eviscerate to kill the Ancient Watcher to prevent any shenanigans next turn with maybe a second Shadow Flame, but the problem is when you use an Eviscerate for just killing a minion, you are robbing yourself from any kind of finisher that
your reach is much lower, you're right.
Yeah, your reach is really low.
Yeah, because you can't use it on the face, because one of the strengths of those spells is that it bypasses taunts, obviously, so the idea is to use them on the enemy's face when he least expects it, but he does have Dr. Boom and Ragnaros in hand, which could be very, very impactful in this moment. Like, they could act as pseudo-eviscerates. But as you can tell here, he's hesitating. Does he eviscerate this, or does he dagger up and trade with one of the Violet Teachers, perhaps?
Well, I wouldn't eviscerate for sure. I would just... If I didn't see the hand of the Warlock, I would just leave the Ancient Watcher there, just go face.
Okay, well, so he shivs the Ancient Watcher.
Yeah.
Alright.
Maybe he should actually shift face, but he wanted to draw first.
Understandably. I mean, I can see why he did that.
Well, if he
he's got good
shift... Yeah, if he actually would shift face, then he would have an board to kill the Ancient Watcher, because he would play the Felnose and backstep for 3 and 2 minions to... Oh no, wait, no, generated this turn. No.
There would have been no...
They were generated this turn with the shift, so never mind.
Oh, wow. Alright, so he might have to eviscerate it after all. Yeah. Oh, double eviscerate. I think Dr. Boom gets played here and puts some heavy pressure. He did keep the eviscerates for the face. You know, he knows better. We spoke about it, and it did make a lot of sense for him too. So he's got 8 damage in hand for the face directly, and with Ragnaros maybe YOLOing it a little bit, that could do it.
Well, you have to take into factor that 10-9 is coming to really soon.
And, Jaraxxus.
Yeah, there might be a Jaraxxus, so you won't be using those eviscerate until you have a sure kill.
Yeah, it's very dangerous, and I mean, Kolento can afford to wait a little bit. He does have 2 Earthring Farseers, which is actually a card that I've seen a lot of handlock players run, like 1 anti-heal bot instead of 2 Earthrings. I've seen a bit of that, 2 anti-heal bots as well. Those are cards that have been not completely phased out, but have seen a reduction in the amount of play they have.
Look what's funny now. The bombs can actually be bad for you. If you hit face twice for 4, if there won't be any Molten Giants in the Warlock's hand, this will be really awful.
It's a huge drop in potential value for sure. Like, it really depends. I hope they hit the minion for Dog, because quite frankly, otherwise, it's going to be a bit problematic. He got lucky there. That was a pretty nice hit.
Really nice.
Wow.
Double deadly poison and 2 eviscerate. This is just a huge amount of damage output next turn.
Yeah.
If he would actually draw into Blade Flurry, that means 18 points of damage just from hand.
Yeah,
it's just 18 points damage from hand.
That's crazy. Oh, I'm actually curious.
What are you curious about?
Because right now, like, you want to play Jaraxxus to get some health back, but you know you can't. It's suicidal, so you kind of have to spam the board with as many possible Ragnaros targets as you can.
That's true.
Like, you have to heal up a little bit to get out of range of the YOLO Rag. You have to play down some taunts, so he's gonna have to Sun Fury those guys.
Yeah.
That's going to be a little awkward for him, but no, you have to do what you've got to do.
Fan of Knives, not that Blade Flurry, but almost.
Are you? Do you eviscerate face once and then? Okay, he could. Oh wow, actually, he could reach for the near guaranteed lethal, I believe. Unless I'm mistaken.
You can risk it because if you sacrifice your bomb first, well, yeah, you play backstep first. You play backstep on Drake, then sacrifice the bomb on whatever.
Yeah, and then whatever dies.
What is the outcome?
Yeah.
Because if you hit face, you can actually get lethal just from eviscerate.
But I think he's got it without that even, but I'm not too sure.
Upside down, I making things crazy.
Yeah, the seeing the cards upside down is really confusing as a.
Oh crap! Now, yes.
That doesn't matter really right now, but he can definitely wipe this board pretty much entirely and get a guaranteed lethal. Whatever. So that's another game for Dog. That Miracle Rogue pulling its weight. A deck I haven't seen much after GVG is apparently still strong.
Play with not eviscerating the Ancient Watcher here. It was maybe some players that saw both hands from the players will think that it's a misplay, but when you don't see the lurking Shadow Flame from the Warlock, you can't really play that eviscerate. So very good decision. And wow, my hand is great against the Shaman, right?
Yeah, you're just happy to get something you can kill a totem with. Alright, Neptulon with Power Mace and Kolento's hand.
That's all.
It's not the best start, but at least totems can carry you forward a little bit. And you know that Haunted Keeper top deck. That'll help a little bit for the early game. Quite nice for him here. So the Power Mace, do you think it's run because of mechs or just because it's a 3-2? It's kind of a pseudo Fiery War Axe.
I think it might be a pseudo Fiery War Axe here.
Yeah, okay. That I could see that being the case, definitely. I don't see. The thing is, like, he doesn't know, but there's a sabotage in that rogue deck. So if there like sabotage,
forget about it. Like, what?
Yeah, there it is. There it is. There's the sabotage. It came in just now. So when that weapon does come out, I mean, he might be inclined to wait for Doomhammer though. You know, you have to wait for Doomhammer to sabotage, or is the metagame so hectic post GVG that you just use it on whatever you see first?
I think you can't be greedy unless you're sure that there's a Doomhammer in your opponent's hand. The problem when you're playing against Shaman, that he has a really strong tempo build. So if you don't remove any kind of answers as soon as possible, you might be dead.
Yeah, that's true. And we've seen Alexstrasza in Dog's deck. Apparently, this reminds me of Tares. You remember Tares Miracle Rogue a while back was running, you know, the Alexstrasza and I forget a Sprint, I believe. So it seems like Dr. Boom made its way instead of Sprint, and Rag got added, and they cut some of the more bursty auto attack the face like Leroy / Arcane Golems. So this is looking a bit similar to that, and I like that style of Miracle
Rogue. It really
Rogue.
reminds me of the early beta when we were playing with anything. And my like favorite deck apart from Control Hunter was Rogue with Ragnaros and Shadow Steps, just for being used as a toolbox for Beacon Hunters, Black Knights, and all those Battlecry minions. So.
Yeah. Temple Rogue was really fun, actually. Temple Rogue was one of the most fun decks in the history of Hearthstone, and it seems like more and more as time passes, Miracle Rogue is becoming more and more tempo-based, right? It's got a lot more minions in it than it used initially. Initially, the deck was basically pure spells. All spells and just one Gadget Sand, two Gadget Sands, and you just carried on the back of it when you found it. And as time's passed, it's been Violet Teachers included, a lot of other stuff that was really not in the core design of the deck. It's been kind of nice, honestly.
True. Oh, the problem with the Rogue is that he didn't draw any kind of Warped Pierce yet, and those will be the MVPs against Shaman.
Yeah, but he's got a Gadget Sand coin and double prep and a prep in hand, so there could be, like, if he goes Gadget Sand auction your coin, prep sabotage, that's a lot of card draw. He could get a Blade Flurry, which would be very good for him right now. I think Kolento has to kill the...
Yeah, you just play the Elemental, I think.
I would, but I don't know if he'd rather keep it and not lose it to a board wipe. There's a possibility that he expects dog to wipe the board very quickly, and he's gonna get an extra card draw from the Manatite Totem.
But now you're even more vulnerable
Yeah.
to say board clear. Well, it doesn't really matter because
At
Shaman
this
is
point.
so far ahead.
At the moment, yes, definitely. And, you know, Dog's got to be curious, you know, does this guy run Bloodlust? Because there is a possibility that Bloodlust is run as a one-of in Kolento's deck. We don't know that yet. I mean, the decks haven't been... Like, there's no established metagame just yet. And, you know, Power Mace might indicate, you know, a mech or tempo deck that didn't draw super well, let's say. So maybe Bloodlust is in that range.
Let's talk about the rogue options here. I think if you play two Blade Flurries, you have to risk and play Gadgeton and prep. I mean, Gadgeton coin, you have one draw, then prep, you have a second one, and maybe draw into the Blade Flurry because there's so many minions out there, and you have like 6 points of damage.
He decides not to do that, but there's no Fan of Knives in his hand either, so...
So what would you play, even the Drake?
Dude, I don't know. It feels like he doesn't feel threatened yet. He doesn't feel like he's about to die, so he's gonna have to try to eviscerate that Flame Tongue Totem so he doesn't take too much damage. That mitigates a lot of damage from the board, in the immediate sense, but it still doesn't help him recover.
Yeah, it's still 5 damage from the board, and you know that easily with 7 mana, even the worst combination is like Lightning Bolt or Rogue Biter, and an example, Final Metal. So that's 11 points of damage. We'll be at 3. And
Anti-Killbot will not save you. Like, you're 3 turns away from Alex Straza. So he might be feeling a bit safe here because he doesn't expect the burst. But then again, as you said, you know, Shaman has a lot of reach potential. It's one of those things with that deck, you know, they can lava burst your face out of nowhere, and suddenly you're down to nearly no health at all. But Kolento decides to trade again, plays the Fire Elemental. He's gonna get some nice card draw here.
Yeah. If Shaman actually draws more than 2 cards from the Water Elemental...
Yeah, it's pure value.
It's already over, I think. It's like most of the situations like, oh, I just lost. Shaman has so much value.
Does not target.
Yep.
So it's gonna be random here. So do you have to try to sabotage or hope for Blade Flurry top decks? Or
now you have to play the Gazetton, but you lost your coin and you have 1 mana remaining. I'm almost sure that Dog is not running any kind of 1 mana spells.
Yeah. Now let's see if the RNG favors him.
Oh wow! Oh no!
Oh, he kills a Stoneclaw. This is devastating. This is the worst possible outcome.
Is it the end of the game? No.
Not yet. Not yet, but it could be.
Like any kind of spell that deals 2 damage or maybe 1. So Crackle.
Defender of Argus will give +2, so there's 7, 8 there, plus Rock Biter. That's a total of, you know, 11 damage. He's 1 off lethal again.
What? Well, you can try to draw into Crackle. Like if you play Azure Drake, you have still 1 mana for the Rock Biter, and if you draw the Crackle, you win. So
yeah, immediately. So that would be.
And you are 26 points of life. If you don't draw the Crackle, you can just kill off the Gazetton.
Yeah, and you don't expect any burst from that deck because as we've already seen, you know, Dog's deck is very, you know, heavy minions. That's pretty much what he's running most of the time. So you don't expect, you know, Leroy, Shadow Step, or, you know, Arcane Golem, Cold Blood, Shadow Step, Cold Blood. Like you don't expect any of that stuff. It's just it's going to be straight up trying to out tempo you. And right now as a Shaman, you have the tempo, so you're not too worried. I don't think.
That's very true. That's how the Shaman works.
Yep. Now Dog in a really tricky position. Anti-Killbot could help, but how much really? Another prep, but Gadgeton has been silenced.
That's awful, man. That's really awful, and I think the Gadgeton should be played early on, but now you just lost so much. Yeah, so much tempo is being lost. Even the Sap is a great play right now, even for a golem. For the golem, even it's like.
Yeah, you have to at least remove some stuff on the board. Like, removing 2 minions is fine. Do you... No, you can't. I mean, you'd have to get lucky with your prep Shiv to get anything done, right?
No,
like, if you prep Shiv,
you're just dead. There's no way you can pull off this game.
I mean, he's got, like, Strata for healing purposes, right? Oh, the Crackle. Oh, that's going to hurt. 6, 7... 8, so this guy's on 4 health, 5 health.
There's a second weapon.
Oh, it's over. Power Mace. Never mind. What am I talking about?
And the Rogue Biter, that Crackle didn't even matter.
am I calculating damage? What am I doing here? Yeah, never mind. This game is over. So that was a really nice, nice play here from Kolento. He's using power maces. You know, he's got Harvest Golem, so they can have some value. And he takes the third game after all. You know, losing his two first decks, Paladin and Warlock, to this Rogue. Yeah. Figured it out. Realized, you know, let's go Shaman, tempo this guy out. My Shaman can out-tempo your Rogue, so... Yep, Dog's deck goes, it costs the exact same amount of mana. So Dog decides to pick Druid, actually, so that's interesting.
Okay. That's very interesting. Maybe he just wants to maybe win with his Wars deck in this matchup, just not to show the Mage first.
Yeah, if he can't avoid showing the Mage, then maybe that's what he wants. So if he can win with this one... I mean, he can afford throwing the deck away, right? It doesn't really matter to him. Maybe it's very standard. Oh, Mech Druid, you've got to be kidding.
Wow, that's interesting.
That definitely interesting. I like that. But Kolento's got a decent starting hand here on curve with Hunt Creepers and Harvest Golems.
Also. This is very interesting because we talked in Kinguin Invitational. I mean, the Kinguin for Charity tournament. That was the first GBG tournament. Mech Warper fills the same role as the Wild Growth in this type of decks. And you know, when you have 4 Wild Growths in a deck, well, that's kind of OP, right?
Yeah, well, that's been my most successful Druid deck, is actually a mech tempo deck that's kind of trying to be a fast Druid. That's one of the decks I've been having fun with. I can't tell you it's like the best deck that I've ever played, but it's definitely been a lot of fun, honestly. And so far, Mech Warper is like another Wild Growth, so I have 2 Wild Growths, 2 Mech Warpers, 2 Innervates, and that seems to be definitely what Dog is attempting with this deck, definitely. But Shaman's got a sickening amount of board presence right now.
Do you play the Dr. Boom?
Oh, that would have been fun. That would have been fun. But,
wait, what happened? Ancient of Lore was played, right?
No, it actually was the Azure Drake. It's on the right side of the screen.
Somehow
it's
wow.
It's gone. We don't see it
like,
properly.
What is happening here?
Yeah, the Azure Drake is on the very far right. So we're looking at that, and it's... Shaman is tempoing pretty hard right now. Got a lot of... Oh, wow, the Harvest Golem gets buffed up by the Power Mace dying, which buffs a random mech with +2/+2. Definitely a good one here.
A Yeti
for
with
Kolento,
a
at least.
Wow.
That is sick. And now, do you innervate out, you know, the Shredder and the Spider Tank?
Yeah, that feels good.
Dr. Boom?
Awful, to be honest. You have to play
Yeah.
Dr. Boom. I think Dr. Boom last turn was so good.
Last turn might have been a bit better, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You just lost 1 point of mana because of that innervate this turn.
Yeah, any play he had was overpaying, basically.
Yeah, and well, he had the Shredder the turn before that, so he might actually been planning forward, like turn 5 any 7 drop, then turn 6 4 drop and
4 drop
power
and 3 drop. Yeah.
for the Hunted Creeper. So that might be slightly better, especially when you're playing against a tempo deck like Shaman, when you need those value cards like the bombs from Dr. Boom as soon as possible to just trade for all the minions.
Yeah, before they overwhelm you, because Druids have swipe, but besides swipe, you know, what really do they have when it comes to clearing boards, right?
Nothing.
Kolento has a nice Lightning Storm, right? It's I mean, does he just Lightning Storm this board ever, or does he wait since he's in Mech Warper?
Yeah, the bomb is really unlucky here.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that's like...
Unfortunately. And again...
Oh, wow!
Okay, well, he's in range. He's getting close to the Force of Nature Savage Row range, right? It can't be. It's so awkward, though. Oh, God.
The whole turn, you're all in awful position. You have to draw into Telnos or play Starfall, as you mentioned.
Wild Pyromancer. I've seen Wild Pyromancer a long time ago in Druid when you were expecting a lot of aggro, right? But that's mostly, it's not something you tech very often. Like, it was the alternative to Blood Mage Thalnos. Happy to run when you do get it. In a situation like this, I think it would be pretty much godly, honestly. But Swipe Hero Power Wrath here actually does a pretty good job of wiping the board.
Well, there's still be 1 minion left, right?
Yeah, there will be one thing, but yeah, I mean, if you leave the Zombie Chow alive, you can always finish it off.
Because he has this hero power still. Kolento.
Yep, exactly. Right on. So that's a pretty decent board wipe, quite frankly. Like, I wouldn't feel too bad about it if I were Dog. He's gotten in a position now where he actually has a decent board, but Kolento's next turn is likely to be Neptulon, which is going to give him an entire hand of Murlocs, and those are random, so you never know what you're going to get. I don't know if he's going to play it right away.
Yeah, this is the first time I see a Neptulon in a tournament.
Oh, it's a great
Oh god!
card draw.
Oh man, that's really.
This is
Wait.
crazy.
We don't play any Murlocs, I think, apart from the Stiffen next turn. So.
And then you drop 2 of them with Murkai, and you're just happy to do it. But then again, you're in reach of, you know, Force of Nature, Savage Roar. That has to be a little dangerous here.
You can kill those minions easily.
Yeah, you can
play,
kill them.
You kill the Yeti and then Hex.
Hex 1, yeah, fairly simply. And it gives you a spare part. You can always get something valuable out of it. Maybe swap back your Neptulon to full health for whatever reason.
Or freeze.
It's gonna
that would be okay.
Mm-hmm.
What did he get? It's a Kolento? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
No,
he
it's
got
Time
Time
Rewinder.
Rewinder.
Oh, wow.
Is he gonna get more
That's
Murlocs? Oh, old Murkai OTK! I'm kidding, of course. That would be nice, so the old Murkai getting incredible value. So...
He goes with his safer play here because he's so unlucky one swipe, but the Keeper of the Grove might be very relevant here.
Yeah, no, it's a very nice play here.
Second Keeper. Okay, still lacking the combo, and this is the most important thing.
Yeah.
But now, how many
Kolento's
points will the
Murlocs.
Armor Arc will have actually? Well, you play
Plus
the second...
2, plus
plus 4.
3.
Plus 4.
It'll be a 7-4.
If you play the Stephen 2, yeah. And you can fit those? Yeah, you can fit those.
Yeah, you can fit everything. You can fit everything you want. That is an incredible Murloc moment. Oh my god, Neptulon. Like, GVG has made some of the most unexpected things happen.
I really love it.
I can't believe this.
I always... Well, I'm always an opponent of any RG cards, but when it comes to the new cards for the GVG are really fun and awesome to watch. So...
Yeah.
I really like the new expansion here.
Honestly, so far, I think this is definitely RNG done right, as far as I'm concerned. GVG has done that right. Like, they've actually done really nice. Like, the random numbers, the RNG in GVG hasn't been, you know, like cards like Ragnaros and Animal Companion. You know, those 2 cards personally, I'm not a big fan of because I think they're a bit too swingy in a way. But the cards that you get from, you know, Neptulon, sure you could get, you know, 4 old Murkais, but that's not even good. Like, you have to get really specific combinations to get really the OP RNG, whereas this forces you to play around it. And the Siltfin, admittedly, was arguably one of the better cards that Kolento could have gotten.
For sure, and it has 5 points of health, so that's the worst kind of minion that can actually be played against a Druid. I mean, the best, because Druid has a problem with minions with high health, just because Druid has no option to kill a minion regardless of its health points, so he has to actually deal damage that is being printed on the health of the minion. Unless you're using, of course,
Here Dog actually decides to double Keeper of the Grove, the Siltfin. I thought he was going to you know, hero power the 1/1, then reverse the attack and health of the Siltfin and kill it with the Keeper of the Grove thing, but he wants to keep the reversing switch, probably to get a Keeper of the Grove swap up to 4 attack. To maybe reach for a little bit more damage. I think that's what he's trying to do, because Double Keeper is probably trying to set up for some kind of damage, because he considered the reversing switch, but you know, Crazed Alchemist works like that, where if you switch the attack and health, it does it permanently. So even though the Grimscale Oracle only buffs you know, an aura effect, it would translate into permanent. Oh, Arcane Nullifier actually in Kolento's Shaman. That's nice with Power Maze.
Do you think he dropped the wolves?
No, a long time ago, in the times where Alpha and Beta were a thing for Hearthstone, the wolves were cut out of every mid-range Shaman deck because they overloaded you and denied your ability to tempo very effectively. So that is definitely a possibility. It's like Unbound Elemental and Harvest Golem, people preferring one over the other. It's kind of going in and out of fashion. But I've always preferred Harvest Golem, and it seems to be the case that, you know, a lot of people also run their Shamans with Harvest. So it is a call that I'm willing to make, cutting wolves in this deck. I think that's fine.
This might be a very good decision in this type of Shaman. When you have also Neptune, which also causes overload, you don't have to be... You can cut cards that can overload too much.
Exactly.
Every single draw will mean that you will be off curve and you will suffer from tempo, loss.
Tempo loss. Yeah, that's the big problem with, you know, overload. It's a mechanic that's designed that way, where Shaman has Really nice board presence, mind you, but the overload is kind of the drawback you have to pay for, so you surrender future tempo for immediate one, and sometimes when that backfires, then you're falling behind way too quickly. So cutting the Feral Spirits can definitely be a good thing, especially with Spider Tanks in the metagame now. Now, there's a lot of 3-drops that kill it for free, and now you lose tempo for that, so it can be kind of problematic.
Very true.
Alright, Kolento wiping the board. Or trying to, at least. The miss.
Low roll on the Tinkertown Technician.
If Force of Nature is top decked, is that it? I believe it is.
Yeah,
If Savage Wars are top decked.
No. We did draw the white dwarves, so that's not the combo. So there's no way of getting lethal this turn.
But the stealth on the Drake could be really, really instrumental. That could be really nice.
Swipe, one grab, right?
Yeah, there's one of each left in the deck right now, so Swipe would make short work of the current board of the Shaman. Quite frankly, it would be very easy for Dog to wipe it. But a Lightning Storm with a Drake here could definitely change the tides if he rolls high on that Drake.
That will be super important.
Yeah, it would be a really
maybe game winning it.
Yeah, I'd go as far as saying it's game winning because he is on 15. And the Drake dies.
Oh, wow. Right,
he's just out of range.
21. You're right. That's not the game winning at all.
Oh, he has to go face and hope for the Savage War top deck now. Is that it, or is he gonna still try to trade? He could kill the Drake and go face for one.
I think you go. Well, you didn't see any heal cards from Shaman, so you can actually go face, I think.
Yeah, we don't expect any of those. All right.
4/7. Wow, so that's a permanent.
It's at least a board wipe. Yeah, this is going to be. Swipe top deck is actually lethal now for Dog, so his Swipe and his Savage Roar are both going to help him win the game because now his board is gone, so he's relying on whatever he can top deck, and there are no taunts for this turn at least. So he's got maybe one turn, because like Kolento, worst case scenario, could always hex his own minions to get a pseudo taunt for one turn, if he ever needs to get two of those at any point.
So
it's really
at this point of the game, I'm sure there are no spectral. Oh wow!
Oh, the Savage Roar, and no spectral knights. I don't think. Wow.
I wanted to tell about spectral wolves for
yeah.
Shaman here because we didn't see them at all for 2 games, and we did see Defender of Argus, and Nullifier. So
yeah, so there's probably a cut there that was made.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, Arcane Nullifier is pretty much a Spirit Wolf because it's giving you kind of almost 2/6 worth of stats, and they're untargetable. They do cost you one more.